What's up, fantasy managers? You will learn information in this video that will determine the best and worst offense and defensive lines independent of the running back. If you listened to the show last week, you would have known Derrick Henry was set for a bounce back and you should have started him with confidence, and he smashed it with 2 touchdowns. You also would have known not to start Bill, but I did say not to start Saquon Barkley. I will take the L on that. His first 100-yard scrimmage game all season, but hey, it happens. This week, let's get right into it. This is my table here. This table will show you which running back has the best and worst matchups and help you to resolve your own tiebreakers. And the first running back I want to discuss is Kimani Vidal, running back for the Chargers. Now, since he's taken over, he has 50% of the carries inside the 5-yard line. The other 50% is Amari Hampton, so I don't think he's going to be sharing any goal line carries with him anytime soon. So technically, he's getting 100% of the carries right now. His offensive line earns a 1.33 yards before contact. That's in the green. That is good. They are playing against the Titans defensive line. Now, the Titans defensive line is average, allowing 1.03 yards before contact, but they have given up the most rushing touchdowns on this season with 12. And the quick stat that I want to say about this guy is that since he became the bell cow for the Chargers, he had 23 carries last week, he has gained 64% more fantasy points per snap when the Chargers have had the lead. He's not really a receiving back, so when they are trailing, he's not really involved, but when they have the lead, he's gaining a lot of points. And why is that important? Because the Titans offense average 13 points per game, while the Chargers offense averages 23 points per game. There is a good chance they're going to be leading most of this game, which means he'll have plenty of opportunities on the ground to score you points. The Titans in general are ranked 32nd in point differential. They are minus 120. And some other stats here. So against Miami, he had 18 carries, bell cow numbers. He actually had 4 targets too, so he had a total of 22 opportunities that game. He was running back 9. The following week, they play against the Colts. The Colts are one of the best teams in the league. So what happens? They fell behind. He only had 9 carries that game. But then we go to last Thursday. I think it was last Thursday against the Minnesota Vikings. He had 23 carries against the Vikings. And what they do against the Vikings, they dominated the Vikings. Joe Alton's back. I'm telling you, that offensive line is looking a lot better. And he's playing great behind it, averaging 5.2 yards per carry. When it comes to red zone touches, he's top 15. Yards per touch, he's 21st overall, 5.1. You kind of want to see that be a little bit better, but still top 24. And he's ranked 13th overall in breakaway runs with 5, but his 9.3% run rate is actually 3rd best in the NFL, alongside having the 2nd best rushing yards over expected per attempt at 1.49, and that's among 43 running backs with 45 plus carries. And what the Titans allow for rushing yards per game, they are actually ranked 26. They've given up 142 rushing yards per game. The last 3 games they've given up an average of 135. And for points allowed, they're actually ranked 3rd best, allowing 28.6 points. And what is good about that is that last week, Vidal had 75% of the Chargers backfield's fantasy points. So what's 75% of 28.6? I don't know. I flunked out of college like 4 times, but I'm assuming it's a lot. If you're having any doubts about starting Vidal, don't put him in your lineup. Next up, running back 2 we're talking about. I'm excited to talk about this guy, Kareem Hunt. As we see here, Kareem Hunt for the Kansas City Chiefs gets 71% of the carries inside the 5-yard line. The Chiefs offensive line, they earn a 1.67 yards before contact. That is an elite number. That's why it's in that yellow color. Top 5 in the league. They are going to play against the Bills. The Bills defensive line have given up 1.3 yards before contact. That's in the red. That is bad for the Bills. They've also given up 9 rushing touchdowns, which I believe we kind of went through this in the last one. I think that is 2nd most in the league. Their rushing game is not on point. Kareem Hunt is going to be the RB1 for the Chiefs because Isaiah Pacheco is out. Even though the running metrics has not looked good from Kareem Hunt this year, with Isaiah Pacheco out, he's going to get the bulk of the carries. In the 8 games without Isaiah Pacheco last year, Kareem Hunt had 59% of the snap rate, 41% route rate, 19.4 carries per game, 2.8 targets per game. So he will be getting 20 opportunities a game. That was RB3 in expected PPR points per game and RB19 in actual PPR points per game. Plus, during that span between weeks 13 and 12 of last year, Kareem Hunt led the NFL with 15 carries inside the 5-yard line, which is great because we want the goal line opportunities on a Chiefs team that's scoring a lot of points. And last week, in a limited fashion, with only 9 carries, he still managed 2 total touchdowns. He had a total of 17 points, which was RB12 on the week. Right now, he is ranked 11th on the total touchdowns and has a rate of 7.1%. And like I said earlier, they are playing the Buffalo Bills. This game is going to, the over and under in this game is going to be like a bazillion points. There will be scoring. I do want a piece of it. I do want the RB1 for the Chiefs team in this game because you can run against the Bills. They have a horrible run defense. Buffalo is actually ranked 29, all right? So their DVOA, they're 6.1. That is bad. For defense, you want the negative. If you can see here, Cleveland, they got a good run defense. They're at minus 32.7. The Buffalo Bills defensive line, they're at 6.1. Their PFF run defense, 51.9. Their EPA allowed, you want this at a negative on the defensive side. They're on the positive at 0.03, and their run defensive power grade is 29.8%. I could score better than that in my English class, and I can't even read or spell. Buffalo is allowing the second most rushing yards per game at 150. In the last 3 games, they've given up 131, but 115 rushing yards per game on the season. And then for points allowed, Buffalo is ranked 6th overall to running backs. They give up 25 points to running backs. Like I said, Isaiah Pacheco is out. It is Kareem Hunt. They do have that rookie back there, but I expect Kareem Hunt to get the majority of the carries, even probably be a part of a little bit in the pass game. The only thing that concerns me about this game, even though I do believe there's going to be a lot of points scored, is that both teams can abandon a run, and it's going to be Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes airing it out. But if they get to that goal line, Kareem Hunt's going to be your guy. And the third running back that you should put in your lineups to feel comfortable, well, maybe. This could also be a bad pick. Stick to the end, and I'll explain why. But for right now, we're going to say it's a good pick, a confident pick, and it's going to be the Bears running back, DeAndre Swift. Nay. It's going to be the backup, Roschon Johnson. Nope, not him either. It's going to be the backup to the backup, Kyle Monangai, running back of the Bears. The Bears offensive line, they earn, where am I at here? They earn a 1.55 yards before contact. That's in the green. That's good. They are playing against the Bengals, and the Bengals, they allow 1.75 yards before contact. That might be one of the worst in the league. Well, actually, I'm looking at the Cowboys. The Cowboys gave up 1.81. So, at least, they're in the bottom 5, at least, in yards before contact, that defensive line. And they have given up 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. Actually, that's not right. It's 8 rush. Oh, here we go. It's actually 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. So, they're up there, giving up some of the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL. Kyle Monangai, he's going to be the main dude for that Bears. Their offensive line's been playing great. The Bengals defensive line has not been playing great. Kyle will be your Monangai for this week. And so far in the season, he's averaging 4.4 yards per game. We have a week 7. Week 7 was his best game against the New Orleans Saints. He carried the ball 13 times. He ran 9 routes. He had 3 targets for 2 receptions, a total of 94 yards and 1 touchdown. I do believe it was a goal line touchdown. 17 points. He was RB12 on the week. He's also very elusive. He's only had 42 attempts on the season, but he's still averaging 0.28 missed tackles forced per rush, which is actually a really good stat. I read on Twitter, I think this could be a good comparison, is that Monangai and Swift are like a dollar store version of Gibbs and Montgomery. Now, if Gibbs was out, are you going to start Montgomery? Yes, I believe you will. Now, Swift is out. Are you going to start Monangai? I believe you can. The Bengals defensive line is just horrible. I'm putting up this image here, and I want to show you their DVOA is actually 7.9. We want that in the negative. It's in the positive. Not good. PFF run D, 48.8. EPA allowed at 0.07. We want that in the negative as well. That's not good. Their run defensive power, 21.4. According to this chart, they have the 3rd worst run defense in the league. And it's even crazy to think this rookie, this 7th round rookie, is going to have this first start, and it's going to be against the Bengals. I've already told you that Kareem Hunt is facing the Bills, and the Bills were 31st in rushing yards allowed per game at 150. Well, the Bengals are 32nd in the league and allows 151 rushing yards per game. The last 3 games, they've averaged over 184 rushing yards per game. Last game, to the Jets, they gave up 254 rushing yards. That's insane. And now we have, for the Bears, their starters out. They got another running back out. It's just going to be him. He's got a great matchup because also the Bengals, they allow the most points to running backs. They are number one, and allow 33 points to running backs. That's so bizarre. That's crazy. They've given up 1,000 rushing yards to running backs. No other team has over 1,000. They've given up 8 rushing touchdowns, 4 receiving touchdowns. This is a great setup for Kyle Monangai. And also, the Bears are minus 4.4% in passing rate over expected. So, on plays where the distance of downs that should be a pass, they are still running the ball, which helps out Kyle Monangai. So, here's the kicker. Joe Flacco, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, they're all playing well. This might not be the perfect game script for Kyle Monangai, right? If the Bengals offense can overpower the Bears and go up by like 2 or 3 touchdowns and the Bears are playing comeback, I don't see this being a Kyle Monangai game. Just saying that name over and over. There's a chance that this could be a bad matchup for him. If you believe that this game could turn into a catch-up game for the Bears and might not be best to start them, if you believe the Bengals are going to jump to a big score league with Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. I'm going to talk about 3 players who have a very good chance of struggling this weekend. And the first player that I want to talk about, the first running back, I'm scrolling, is going to be Rico Dowdle. So Rico Dowdle from the Panthers, he is getting 57% of the carries inside the 5-yard line. The Panthers' offensive line has actually played pretty well. They are earning 1.33 yards before contact. 1.4 yards before contact. I was looking at the other one. They are playing against the Packers. Now, the Packers, they're about average. So defensive line's only given up 0.98 yards before contact. That's around the medium range. They've only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. I think that's what's big here. And it's going to be playing at Lambeau. If it's Bryce Young at quarterback, if it's Andy Dalton at the helm, it doesn't matter. If you're playing at Lambeau Field, it could be a difficult game. The Packers defense is pretty decent. It's really not a knock on Rico Dowdle, because if Rico Dowdle was still getting majority of the carries, or most of the carries like he was when Chuba Hubbard was out, I don't think I would even have him up here. But because now he's splitting carries, even though I believe he's a starter, we'll probably get around 70% more of the carries. There is a good chance that this game could turn into maybe a blowout or a catch-up game for the Panthers. And my co-host Tyler actually mentioned that Chuba Hubbard is a pass-catching running back, and he'd be the one that would be in there most of the time. So there is a chance for that. And the fact that the Packers only given up 2 rushing touchdowns this season is not good for Rico Dowdle. And the Packers defense have given up the 3rd least rushing yards per game at 78. Over the last 3 games, they've given up 80. Last week, they gave up 93 to Jaylen Warren, but Green Bay, their run defense is pretty good, especially at home, because at home, they allow 50 rushing yards a game. And then when I look at points allowed here, I scroll down. Green Bay, they're ranked 30th for running backs. They only give up 16 points a game to running back. Bottom 3, that's right next to Cleveland. That's right next to Los Angeles Rams. This can be a tough matchup for Rico Dowdle. He's probably going to struggle in this game. Like I said, it's also at Lambeau Field. I do not feel comfortable starting Dowdle this week. And the second running back that I think is going to struggle this week because of their offensive line and the defensive line matchup. Let me scroll down here. And it's going to be the Broncos running back, J.K. Dobbins. Now, J.K. Dobbins has been on this list quite a bit for running backs are going to do well because of the matchup. But this week could be a little bit of a struggle for him. So even though he has 71% of the carries inside the 5-yard line, that was actually at 75% last week, but R.J. Harvey took a few snaps away from him inside the 5-yard line. So something to keep your eye on. But his offensive line, the Broncos offensive line, 1.78 yards before contact. That's great. That is close to being elite. They are playing against the Texans defensive line that right now is around average at 0.91 yards before contact allowed, and they've given up 7 rushing touchdowns. The reason why I think this is going to be a struggle, though, is because the Texans, the first 7 weeks, had an elite defensive line for yards before contact, but then they played against the San Francisco 49ers last week. And even though they won that game, San Francisco controlled that offensive line and it actually bumped their numbers a little bit higher to 0.91, which is decent because they're still meeting them under the yard. They're meeting them in the backfield. So it could be a struggle for J.K. Dobbins. And just another reason why I wanted to put this guy on here is because even though he's averaging 5.3 yards per carry, which is great, he has 200-yard games on the season. But when he doesn't rush for 100 yards or get a touchdown, he gets 4 points. He gets 9 points. And when it comes to rushing yards from the Texans, they're actually ranked 5th best by giving up only 88 yards per game. In the last 3 games, they're only giving up 70. And Houston's points allowed to running backs, they are scrolling, looking. They're 25th overall. They only give up 18.9 yards or 18.9 points to running backs. The thing is, in this game, he might be touchdown dependent. And as we saw last week against an easy defense, the Dallas Cowboys, where he rushed for 120 yards, he couldn't get those goal line opportunities. He couldn't score on them. RJ Harvey could. And if RJ Harvey starts taking more of those goal line opportunities, if he's not rushing for 100 yards, he could struggle, and he might struggle this week against the Texans. And the third running back that you should feel cautious about, this is probably going to be my last time talking about him. I feel like it's been 3 weeks in a row, unless it's going to be on the positive side. But right now, he's still on the negative side, and it's because of all the hype he had during the offseason and then that great Week 4 performance. Commanders running back Bills. So even though the Commanders are doing well, they're earning a 1.27 yards before contact. That's pretty good. But he's only getting 20% of the carries inside the 5-yard line. Now it's being split between Jaden Daniels and Chris Rodriguez. They will face against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they're about average. Their defensive line gives up a 0.97 yards before contact, and they've only given up 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. I believe they happened in the same game, maybe, or one was to Rachaad White. I know for sure. I think the other one may have been Christian McCaffrey. But anyway, doesn't matter. They've only given up 2 on the season. Their defense is pretty tough. Bill has not looked great in the past 3 games. Since his breakthrough performance in Week 5 against the Chargers, where he scored 27 points. Then he had another great matchup against Chicago. He only scored 5 points. I believe he fumbled that game. Then he had another great matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. He only had 4 points that game. And these are coming off of 14 carries, 17 carries, 13 carries. Against Kansas City is a little bit tougher, but 9 carries and 2.5 points. He is not performing the way that we hoped in the offseason or after the Week 5 performance. His snap share is decreasing to 44.5%. Not getting the volume. It looks like he's not getting the volume either anymore. 10 carries, 1 target, so it's getting about 11 opportunities per game. He is ranked 15 in yards per touch at 5.2. That is great for him. He's got that going for him. He's also 13th in breakaway runs on the season at 5. That's okay. That's good for him. And then a stat that shows that he may be on the decline for the rest of the year is he's now 12th overall in yards after contact per attempt at averaging 3.33, which is good, but just 4 weeks ago, he was in the top 2, top 1, top 3, and it just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. So that's not good for him. Still good at this moment, I guess, but he's going downward and not upward. And the Seattle defense allowed the least amount of rushing yards per game at 75. The last 3, they're only giving up 57 yards per game. So for points allowed, they are 20th. They're ranked 20th overall. They allow 21 points per game, so they're still below average on the negative side for running backs. But 21 points a game, and then I want to throw up this image here. This image here shows the Week 8 bell cow report, each running back's share of the team's backfield expected fantasy points. And we're scrolling down. We go to Washington. We want to see Bill there, but we don't see Bill. Bill is not there. It's Jeremy McNichols, 61%. So he's not even getting over 50% of these expected fantasy points per game. So when Seattle's only giving up 21 points to running backs, and he's not even earning 50% of his backfield's expected fantasy points, that's not good for Bill. And I want to do some honorable mentions, some quick hits. I can't get to everybody on these solo ones, so I'm just going to scan through these real quick. I'm going to do advantage, Christian McCaffrey, advantage, James Cook, advantage, Patriots defense on this one, but Bijan Robinson can pass catch. Advantage. This is a battle of the trenches here. I have to give the advantage to the Texans because they are home. This right here is pretty close. I'm going to give the advantage to the Chargers. The Titans cannot score, and Tony Pollard only gets 20% of the goal line carries. I'm pretty sure he's losing his carries to Tyjae Spears. This game already played. The Packers and Panthers, I give the advantage to the Panthers. The defensive line was actually in the elite numbers until they played against the Bills, so I believe they're going to eventually work back down. Next game, advantage to Tyrone Tracy. You can run on the 49ers. Advantage to the Cardinals, depending which running back is going to be. Apparently, all three of them are going to play. Advantage the Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet, 72% of the goal line carries. Already did that game. Advantage Jaylen Warren in any situation, in rushing or receiving. He's going to have the advantage in this game. Rams against the Saints. Kyron Warren, advantage. Another two elites going against each other. Jacksonville Jaguars, 1.8 yards before contact. That's number one. Number one against the Raiders, who only allow 0.74 yards before contact, but they've given up 8 rushing touchdowns. I would have to give the advantage to this one stuff. The way that Jacksonville's playing, I will give the advantage to the Raiders. Patriots against the Falcons, I give advantage to the Patriots. I think Trayvon Henderson's going to get the start. Advantage to the Bengals over the Bears, or Chase Brown over the Bears. Advantage Jonathan Taylor over the Steelers. Advantage David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs over the Vikings. Already did the Broncos and the Chiefs. Dolphins had an advantage over the Ravens, but the Ravens scored so many points they had to abandon the run. Advantage Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones against the Lions, because the Lions are actually giving up, but Lions are going to score so many points they might have to abandon the run with JJ McCarthy back there. Advantage the Rams against the Saints. The Rams defense has not given up a rushing touchdown, and the Saints cannot score rushing touchdowns, so advantage the Rams. Cowboys offense, advantage Javonte Williams, advantage. Raiders offense against Jaguars defense. I have to go Jaguars defense because the Raiders offensive line is just that bad. And the rest are teams that are on bye. And that's the end of the show. The information you learned today can help you decide your own tiebreakers on who to start or who to sit for your running backs. If you ever have a question that you want us to answer, every Friday we do a live video where you can join in, have a few brewskis, talk shop, ask us a question. Tyler has his waiver wire show coming out Sunday. It's the earliest waiver wire show on the planet. Make sure to check it out. Then we got our trade targets the following week. Make sure to check those out too if you want to continue winning by taking our advice. I'll talk to you guys in those videos. Deuces.